Obviously, I can't use a computer and I don't know how to work a webcam. We're back. Can you guys hear me and see me? Sorry about that technical difficulty. I picked the wrong camera. We're just waiting for people to come in the live stream. Just a few minutes more. How's everybody? Am I the only one here? Is this public? Am I going to totally embarrass myself? Should I have just stayed in bed and cried all day? These are questions people really need to know. Let me see if this is actually working. Can you guys hold on a sec? For those of you watching the replay, we're going to have timestamps so you don't have to go through this awkwardness. One moment. Why did I make it sound like that? One moment. Hold on, let me see if this is working. Where's everybody? Get over here. Let's see. Oh, hi. Is there someone here? There's someone in the chat. Let me, guys. Oh, I'm getting thumbs up. Can you guys hear me? Can someone in? Oh, go Price. Hi. Oh, hi. Okay, we're live. We're live. Okay, we're good. Can you guys hear me? Sorry if this is so awkward. It's been a while. It's Go Price Go. How are you? It's great seeing some familiar faces. In fact, a lot of familiar faces. Hey, next door panda. This is the guy. You like my fedora? Tip of my hat to Go Price Go. Hey, you're the trucker, right? Yes, it's working. Okay, like, and my levels aren't like blown out or anything, right? Like, we're good. Hey, Randy, what's up? Ian Bayless. I'm about to max this mic out so hard. Everyone, Sarah. Ah, CG Casa. Hello, hello. Oh, so great to see you guys. So many familiar faces, so many familiar avatars. And we even have our hardworking mod in the room with us, Sarah the dev, Sarah's Photo Revolution. Also, Renee, hi. Sorry about that awkward live stream setup. I had the wrong freaking camera on. OBS was being a pain in my butt. I had an existential crisis. I actually have a pretty good show set up for today. I think I don't know some valuable information you might be wanting to enjoy. It's like I'm on a first date or something. What do I say? I don't think the double fisting of the energy drinks are really helping. And I have a dog, guys, as you can hear. Any pet parents out there with some special tips to take care of a 7-pound Papillon? Because this guy is crazy. Sorry about that. I tried to buy him off with some treats, but it wasn't working apparently. Excuse me, Rupert. He might come join us in the live stream eventually. Okay, so we're good. Dogawana. What's up, Renee? How's it going? We already have 7 people in this live stream, and I haven't even started talking about anything, just continuously babbling. But shout out to Next Door Panda for encouraging me to do this live stream and actually just getting back into it. I really like it. Really missed you guys. And I have to say, before we get into the topic, which I call the Aunt Linda effect, I really have to give some shouts and some just general appreciation to everybody who's been so freaking supportive. I have to say, I was kind of intimidated about getting back on YouTube because, it's like the internet. It's a bunch of weirdo. But I have said this since the start of my channel that I have the best subscribers on YouTube. So supportive. I've gotten emails and DMs from you guys. And in fact, let me just take a quick moment. I want to give a shout out to Jason, Tim, and Pedro who emailed me yesterday because on my newsletter, I shared a quick email blast about, my burnout and stuff. And they were just like, good to have you back. Great job. And I was like, well, thanks. That's pretty awesome. So thank you so much for the support. Also, in times previous, I was a big promoter of just about anything and was never shy to insert a link. The only thing I'm going to promote today is my newsletter. I'll throw it in the comments box at some point. If you'd like to be a part of that, we have, I think, about 3,500 people on that newsletter. And sign up if you'd like. There's some pretty good information, I think, in there for code newbies and the rest. Also, I want to give a shout out to Colette, who emailed me, I think, this morning. Colette, if you're watching, I love getting that email. And also to shout out to our newest subscriber, Miss Kay Sylvester. Welcome to the channel. So many new people and great to see. Guys, we're coding on. Okay, this is just, let's get to it. Today's topic is what I call the Aunt Linda effect. What is the Aunt Linda effect? Well, oh, it's Kay Sylvester. Hello. The Aunt Linda effect is when people in your circle find out that you're into tech. What do? They ask you to fix their printer. They ask you to fix their phone. They ask you to, I don't know, what besides from printers, what's like some piece of e-waste that people don't know how to use, but they assume you do. People in your circle who have no idea what we do as web developers, but they find out you're in tech and they're like, come fix my stuff. Is it a pain in the butt? Yeah, a real big one, because you're not a printer fixer person. Ian's like, I have an Aunt Linda, and this hits close to home. Fix their Kindle, Randy. Exactly. Fix their Kindle. Kindle fix it. And it can be kind of obnoxious because it's so cryptic to people who aren't in tech. They just assume we know how to do it all. And, us being problem solvers, of course, many of us are like, yeah, I mean, I guess I can try and give it a shot, but inside you're kind of dying and just like, this isn't what I signed up for. So we're going to talk about the Aunt Linda effect today and how you can kind of leverage that to your advantage. We're also going to talk about the relationship between six figures and risk, because these six-figure jobs, guys, I mean, they're lucrative, but they're not easy, They're just not. Getting a six-figure income, whether it's right out the gate or a few years down the road, not an easy thing to do. The third thing we're going to talk about is a problem-solving mentality versus a coding mentality, and how all of these things intermingle and relate, and ultimately how you can leverage your skills as a software developer to get paid and enjoy your life. I mean, that's ultimately what we're all out here to do, I think. I don't think anyone pursuing software development is doing it to torture themselves, although it is torturous most times. Most times, many times. We're all here to succeed in life. I think that's a fair statement. IMHO. Sarah says, I always can you set up my new tablet? And it's like some cheap thing from Walmart, right? It's like not even like a real, it's just like a knockoff e-waste tablet that doesn't even work when it gets out of the box. Like, can you fix this? Doing pseudo help desk over the phone and with family is the worst. But can you center a div? Guys, I love your comments. Krista says, I too am guilty of the printer fix plea. So I have this script here that I whipped up last night just to illustrate the point of this Aunt Linda effect. Do you guys remember? And I might be showcasing my not only age but my hobbies. Do you guys remember those pick your own adventure books back in the day? They always had the really cool, colorful covers. And it was like, if you decide to go down the Whitewater Rapids, go to page 64. Does anybody here remember that? Put a 1 in the comments if you remember the Choose Your Own Adventure books, and they might even still make them. Yeah, Donovan. Oh, hey, Donovan, what's up? Yes, Donovan remembers this. Go Price, go. Yes, okay, thank you. These were cool, but like I loved reading those in school, and I would still read them. D&D. Hey, where is my tetrahedron or whatever 20-sided die when I need it? Okay, so I want to go. I whipped up a choose your own developer adventure last night. Now, I'm going to get some unsubscribers from this. I'm going to get unsubscribed. But for those of us who appreciate a good choose your own adventure, I cordially welcome you to the RealToughCandy reading hour, where you get to pick your own adventure with Aunt Linda. Are we ready? You will be asked to make a decision at the end of this exercise. So please, people, please, you don't have to rush. It doesn't have to be an impulse. This is a horrible decision. This is Straw Bango Margarita, and a near and dear acquaintance, not even acquaintance, a near and dear friend told me this tastes like a hangover. So I'm actually really excited to try it. Oh my gosh. It really does. Let's go over this, okay? You will be asked to make a decision. Guys, you don't have to rush through it, but you do you. Okay, you ready? Here we go. Here we go. By day, you're a normal, hardworking citizen just trying to make ends meet at the local bug meal factory. You will eat the bugs. Yeah, your job kind of sucks. Actually, it sucks a lot. That's why by night, you're an up and coming web developer. You're taking the courses, you're banging out the code, and you started building up your portfolio as a code newbie. You're all in with web development, and you're not shy about sharing your new career move with friends and family. One night, after a particularly hellacious encounter with the roly-poly de-shelling machine, you pour yourself a strong fizzy drink and flop on your couch to collect yourself. You still have about 5 hours of JavaScript studying to do. The cats are angry. The idea of currying in JavaScript immediately makes you hungry, but you force yourself to stay mentally disciplined. Eating can wait, you scold yourself aloud. It's all empty calories anyway. Then, just as you're ready to log on and do a few git commits, the most commitment you've professed in years, your smartphone rings. People still use these things to talk? You exclaim in disbelief. What the heck? I know, right? Intrigued by the novelty and by the fact that the caller ID says Aunt Linda, despite having neither an aunt nor a Linda in your life, you answer the phone. I heard you're doing computers now, a gruff voice hacks. Well, I could use your help with my printer. It's busted. But that's what I get for buying it for $5 from a guy in a maroon Chevy Lumina outside the Dollar General. Anyway, my son Jerry Carey owns an IT shop here in town, but he ran off to Tahiti with some e-girl, and I don't have time to wait. I need to print off some Hobby Lobby coupons. They're doing a BOGO on scrapbook paper. Dumbfounded, you demand to know how this woman got your number, but all you hear on the other end of the phone is emphysemic cackling as the line goes dead. If you ignore the call from Aunt Linda and blame it on recreational drug use, put a 1 in the comments. If you're open to possibly helping Aunt Linda, put a 2 in the comments. Developers, this is critical. Give it some thought. Are you going to be helping this woman? Are you going to, or not necessarily helping, if you're open to the possibility, or is it just too weird? Is this just too freaking weird? We're getting some 2s. We're getting a lot of 2s. C. Williams, Go Price, 2. Stylo 816 is a 2. Donovan is a 2. Bayless, 2, 2. 1, always 1. Okay, we have 1, 1. Majority 2s here, and what the majority of you guys pick is what we're gonna go for this choose your own adventure with Aunt Linda. What will it be? Oh, so many 2s. I think we're totally in. You're open to possibly helping Aunt Linda. You guys are good at this. Sure. Okay. So here, 5. Come on, dust to dust. That's not this the secret off menu option here, number 5. Okay. So here we're gonna go flip to page 671 to see what you guys picked. Okay. Sure, she sounds a little eccentric, but something about dropping her son's full government name sticks out in your mind. And yeah, you're not a printer fix-it person, but it might be nice to hone some of those troubleshooting skills while helping out an old lady. The next day, you call Aunt Linda back and ask her for some more information. It turns out a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend gave her your number after discovering you're one of those tech wizards. You also discover, after a quick Google search, that her son, Jerry Carey, owns the fastest growing tech company in your local area. Guys, you guys are good at this game. In fact, the company website is advertising that they're hiring for 5 new developer roles, including 2 new junior developer positions. And with this information fresh in your mind, you agree to meet Aunt Linda. As fate would have it, she simply didn't know how to plug a power cord into the outlet. So it goes. Within 60 seconds, Linda is back to passionately printing her precious Hobby Lobby coupons from the comfort of her afternoon bathrobe and endless supply of Misty cigarettes. In the course of those 60 seconds, you discover that not only does Linda serve as a board member at Jerry's tech company, she also knows some older business people who are having a heck of a time getting their e-commerce app set up. And would it be okay if she passed along your number to them? Happy as a clam, she slips you a crisp $50 bill and says, wait till I tell Jerry how smart you are. Are you on the Facebook? I'm going to leave a 5-star review for you. You walk out the door feeling an overwhelming sense of validation. Not only are you $50 richer, not only did you score some sweet social proof, not only did you open the door for more work down the road, you just possibly secured the greatest referral of all time, the one that helps you land your very first paid web developer position to developers. You nailed it. Good choice. Good choice. This Aunt Linda paid off. This Aunt Linda paid off because you were open to the idea of possibly helping this person who has no idea what you do, doesn't care, just wants her freaking printer to be fixed. Good job, guys. Whoever picked one, should I read the one? It's a horrible ending, and I don't think I'll read it. And besides, I've destroyed the paper, and the rest is history. Okay, so I just, yes, that was long and drawn out, but I really wanted to illustrate the point that these individuals, I would say even almost everyone who isn't in tech has no idea what we do. And it's a mentality thing. Yes, it's annoying and it can feel like your hard work doesn't pay off. But when you do set up a Kindle, when you do fix a printer, when you do go plug in a cell phone to help charge it, these are small problems, but you're problem solving nonetheless. And I think it can be helpful. And in fact, I know it is. And I want to share 3 instances in my life where I've had these Aunt Lindas in my life. One that was really awesome, one that was kind of intermediate, and one that kind of sucked. Because there's risk associated, as you guys know, with everything we do. But there is a little bit of a higher risk when you put yourself out there with your dev skills, with your tech skills. And not everyone is going to treat you kindly. Not everyone is going to be diplomatic. And some people just might, guys, some people are just going to piss you off. That's happened a lot of times, especially when freelancing. Oh, people have said some just and done some really some shady things, honestly, some dirty things. I won't talk about the dirty, shady things in this live stream, but let me just talk about one time where I wouldn't say she was an Aunt Linda, but it was close. So I was just starting to freelance in 2016, right? That was the year where I was like, I gotta do something. So I was working at the United States Postal Service for the second time because apparently I love to torture myself. Um, there was some other subscriber here who also went to go work for let me just adjust the fedora there. Or what kind of hat is this? For my hat people, would you consider this a fedora, or like what is the style? It's not, I don't know. Just curious. William Claybrook, hi. Welcome. Welcome back. Sarah says, just because you know how to drive the car doesn't mean you know how to fix it. Right. That's a really good point too. And also it reminded me of that saying, you don't need to know how electricity works in order to use it. So, and that's like a really good parallelism because in relation to software development, I think, because everyone uses computers, everyone uses smartphones, everyone uses the internet. They don't need to know how it works. They just use it. They just flip the switch and bingo, I'm logged on to the Facebook. But so it's easy for them. And over the decades of this fine tuning and this infrastructure creation and development, it's become so effortless to use the internet. And I think, what's ironic is I think if computers are really difficult to use, people would appreciate what we do more. But because the usage of the internet and the technologies related to that are so silky smooth, internet speeds are lightning freaking fast. Although I did read a statistic a couple years, this probably isn't the same, but nowadays in 2024, but 1 million people in America are still on dial-up. I mean, I'll bet there's still a few 100,000 people on dial-up in this country. What are we discussing? Daniel, we are discussing I'm glad you asked. We're discussing people in our lives who find out we're software developers and want us to fix their printer and how we can take advantage of that without losing our minds and taking up a horrible habit just to deal with some of these personalities and stuff. Uh, but yeah, going back to where was I? I second the USPS is horrible. Sarah, it really is. Ugh. Stylist said, You work for the USPS. What did you do there?" I was well, the first time around, I was a mail handler, and then the second time around, I was a clerk. Um, and that's the that's the part of it. Like, no one loves working there, but the money is okay, and like, it's totally just throw your package in. Oh, it says fragile. Whoops. No, I never did that. Actually, when people say fragile on the package, I did try to be more conscious of not breaking it. Um, Donovan says, "I volunteer my skills often. I can agree with helping others to opening new opportunities." Bingo, bam. I mean, if you could just sum it up in one sentence, Donovan just nailed it, right? And just keeping that, it's all about the mentality and the mindset and being open to it. And then here's another thing, and I know we're kind of going all over the place, but I promise we'll get back to the main topic. I have been trying to catch up. So, you guys, most of you have seen that burnout video I did a few days ago because I haven't been on the computer, like doing any type of work related to software or web, whatever, for over a year. And I was catching up with some YouTube stuff. Haven't been on YouTube, uh, you know, watching music videos and stuff, but nothing related to like tech. And I've seen some new channels and stuff, some really promising ones, and a lot of them are talking about the job market and how it sucks compared to a few years ago. And you know, I'm not disagreeing with that. Money was free, and of course it's easy to start a business and expand and hire just about anyone when it's free money and the money printer is going like this and the bills are spitting out. You guys know that gif of Jerome Powell just twisting that money machine, and you get a million, and everybody gets a million. Like Jerome Powell meets Oprah Winfrey over here with this free money mobile. So it was. It's so easy to do just about anything you want to do when it's free. But that's not the case anymore. Money is a little more expensive, so these companies are tightening up. But I've been seeing a lot of these videos, these doom and I don't wanna say they're doom and gloom, just bringing attention to the fact that job market's a little different, and there was this one really interesting video. I can't remember the guy's name. Is it Gunder? Is it Kenny? Um, some of you developers probably know what his name is, but he did this video called "The Death of the Self-Taught Programmer" or something like that, and then he redid, an update he did an update video called "The Death of the Low Effort," or he clarified, like, it was the death of the low effort programmer. Self-taught programmer. Anyways, there's all these videos saying, "Oh, the job market is tightening up. You can't find a job and all this." And I'm not disagreeing with that. But I will say, um, it's about opening. I think 90% of it is just the mentality and opening your mind to the different possibilities. Because even when the job market was really good, like the 2018, 2019, 20, even like 2020, I gotta say, developers, 2020 was one of my best years in this industry, which is really weird to say. And I didn't take, as a business owner, I wasn't qualified for any of the government cheese. They're like, if you want these forgivable loans, prove to us you need the assistance. And I couldn't prove it to them because I was doing really good. It was really weird. I'm not complaining, but it was ironic. But for me, I've always been unconventional. I've never had, like, a conventional career path. I've never had a conventional job seeking path. And for me, it's always been opening up, and that's the main point of all this rambling right now, is that opening your mind up to the possibilities. Opening your mind up to those possibilities because you never know what's behind door number 1. So, that said, let me tell you and let me go back. So, this relates to the USPS because I was working and I it wasn't even it was in Minneapolis, and I think it was like $15 an hour, which is now the minimum wage in many cities. And at the time, I thought it was kinda good money, which is oof, yeah, you can't even live on that hardly in a city. But I was working there. I it can be really backbreaking during the holidays, and I couldn't feel my hands. And the way the hiring process works at the USPS, they put you on like a probation period for like a year before you can even get any type of benefit. It's a straight wage. So I was making a straight $15 an hour, a few overtime hours here and there. It was backbreaking. And I was like, what am I can't do this. Like, this is not my calling. This is not my life. Like, I was working in a basement, just going like this. You want to talk about repetitive motion I always say industries, injuries, throwing mail, throwing packages, people not like, when's the last time someone was like, thanks for your service at the USPS? Like, it's so, for me, very unrewarding. So I, where was I going? Sorry, I'm getting distracted with your guys' comments. I love the comments, by the way. Thank you guys. Keep them coming. So, oh God, it does taste just like a hangover. Oh, the bad kind from like 2007. Spring break 2007. What? What am I doing? So I was like, I cannot do this. And at this time, when I was at the Postal Service, I was also trying to teach myself Java and these language. I had no idea like where to start with software development, but it was in my mind. And I had started dabbling and being interested in software development around 2014. So around the 2-year mark where I was just like kind of exploring things and taking my time and really focusing on what I wanted out of it, I was like, you know what? I'm going to start freelancing and we'll see what happens. Like, I didn't know anything about actually knowing how to code a web app. I didn't know much about like back end web. I didn't know. I actually probably didn't know anything at that time. But I was like, let's try it. The worst that can happen. What's the worst case scenario? This job sucks and I want something better out of my life. Let's try it. So I tried freelancing. And you know what I did? Before anything, I made a public declaration, a proclamation, if you will. And I told people, you know what? I'm freelancing. I'm doing web development. I make websites because a lot of people don't even know what web development means or it's kind of obscure. I build websites. Very clear, very concise, bada bing. So that was my thing. Like, I build websites. I specialize in e-commerce because that's something I've done as a how do you call it? Like as a consumer, like flipping stuff on eBay and stuff. So I know like the flow. I'm familiar with the UX UI. It's very familiar territory for me, as well as like, places like Etsy and stuff. I'm familiar with the flow, the checkout process, all kinds of all kinds of stuff like that. The tech stuff, like the inner guts of it, wasn't really familiar with that, but how hard can it be? It was just like that naive approach where you have audacity because you're ignorant, So it was like, ignorantly audacious getting into this thing. I didn't know hardly anything. And I was like, see you, USPS. I'm going to freelance, going to make my money. Don't know about nothing. Don't know. I mean, seriously, guys. And so I didn't know where to start. I was like, well, how do I advertise? Like, well, word of mouth. And I didn't have any money, so I couldn't like properly promote. And even if I did have money, I'd probably waste it all anyway. So I just told friends and family, and I got a lot of responses. Just putting yourself out there, developers. Yeah, I got calls from Aunt Linda all the frickin' time. I don't want to set up your frickin' Kindle, Aunt Linda. You're going to drive me back to smoking and drinking. Give it up. Give it up. Give it up. So, I'm kind of getting blown out with this light. Is this an improvement? Hold on. Sorry, developers, please hold. Is that better? Probably. All right, it's a little bit. I can see you guys a little better. Go Price Ghost is still waiting on a freelance newbie t-shirt with a Stockman behind bars available at RTC shop. Ooh. GP, I like where you're going with this. I do. Ahmad Janapur says, hi, I came across your channel a few years ago when you evaluated the courses offered by Angela and Colt. It was a positive review. Glad to see you back. Thank you. Glad to see you. And so many I'm seeing some new people, new faces in here too. So thanks for coming, everybody. And welcome. I do want to take this moment to just welcome the new subscribers. We got a new batch. It's like the spring kitten, the spring feral kitten explosion. We got some new ones all around. So welcome, and also my old schoolers too. Krista Sylvester says, same could be said for love, life, and adventure. Lafta says, California, April, $20 minimum wage for. Whoa, what? April, $20 minimum wage for fast food workers? Whoa, expensive burgers are coming. I'll take the single In-N-Out deluxe. That'll be $82.67, man. Like, also, too, guys, there's so much to catch up on. Like, I'm not even. Yeah, I know, like, I'm going all over the place with this, but I'm so excited to, like, talk about everything with you guys and discuss what is actually going on. So anyways, I get the calls from Aunt Linda in 2016, right? And then I finally Stockman. That Stickman. I saw a Stickman the other day on this decal. He was, like, being crude to something that said "it," and I'm like, "Oh, I get it." Yeah, he's like, bump it. Um Something to consider in the future for my RTC shop. I don't know. Code Runner. Oh, hey, Code Runner. What am I learning at the moment? Are you still on the PHP train? Maybe Laravel 11. I still am into PHP, and we're going to be doing a video because developers, I've really had it. I am such a big supporter of PHP and the opportunities. And yes, crap on WordPress, but it's made me a lot of money over the years, and I'll go to my grave supporting it. I'm sorry, I'm not stepping down. Cheers to that. I would like to cheers to PHP. In particular, PHP. Yes, that's it. Just PHP. That's it. And then maybe WordPress too. Sarah says PHP rocks. It does. It does. And once you get into it, I have to say, as JavaScript developers are really spoiled because the community is the best. PHP has a good community too, but stuff like the documentation, when you see the JavaScript documentation and the Mozilla Web Docs and just everything we've been spoiled with the high quality tutorials, the books, the gamut, like, is that how you say that word? Gamut. I've only ever read it. I've never actually heard it pronounced. Gamut, the gamut. We're so spoiled in JavaScript. PHP, not so much. No one wants to touch it. These instructors, and I'll go to my grave defending it, but I won't even say the names. Wait, yes, I will. I wish Andre Negoy, the kings of education, Andre Negoy, Colt Steele, would stop putting PHP in the backseat. They're pumping out Excel tutorials, and I can't even get a PHP course to recommend to people. But there's ways around that. Okay, but that was my thing on that. We're going to be doing a whole video, maybe even a live stream on PHP and the opportunities and just some facts. Okay, I'll report, you decide. I don't even need to I'll defend it, but I don't even have to. It can speak for itself. The numbers will speak for themselves. Whoa, Brad Traversy released a PHP one on Udemy. That's okay. That's good to know. Thanks, Sarah. Code Runner says I might go back to WordPress for freelance work. It's cake. I don't know. This channel has always been an alternative. And yeah, if you guys want to see like Mern Stack stuff, it's unlimited. It's whatever flavor you want. It's out here. But this channel is an alternative. It'll always be an alternative. Yes, I'm here crowing about PHP because it's helped me. But I also got an email from Jason yesterday who was like, you know what? I rocked with you a few years ago. And, because you inspired me to start this PHP journey, and I'm still in the industry doing PHP. And I was just like, you know what? This is what I'm here for. This is what I'm here for. I love seeing people succeed in this industry. It's life-changing. I'll testify all day and all night what it's done for me. It's completely changed my life. I do know what I would be doing if I hadn't gone into tech. And it's not a pretty picture. It's one of the best decisions I've ever made. I don't regret any of it. Okay. Lafta says, would PHP be a good first language? I was going to start Python today. Hey, Alex, how's it going? Man, so many familiar faces and avatars here. Good to see you. Aaron Francis made a good PHP video, said the fun maker. I don't know Aaron Francis. Have to check that out. Daniel, sorry, the chat's kind of moving a little bit fast, but I'll try and get back to these comments. Have I tried Django? Daniel asked. Yes, freaking love it. Django, there's also Flask. Even though it's not necessarily something web developers might want to invest a lot of time in, if you're an up and coming developer, just because it is kind of niche. and not necessarily like where all the jobs are. I was reading a blog article about I think NPR's website is running on Django. I'm not sure though. Again, this was like a few years ago and this stuff changes so fast, so don't quote me. Man, people are really coming correct with the PHP tutorials and stuff in the chat. So if anyone watching this is interested in PHP, I'll support it all day long. I'll support it all day long. And everyone else can be about JavaScript. And I don't hate JavaScript, but PHP is just, it's got me places. It's really brought me places. So we'll come back. Joe from CodingPhase shouts you out on his channel. I was like, what? RealToughCandy is the shiznit. Really? CodingPhase. I gotta catch up with that guy. He was one of the earliest supporters of this channel. Him and Brad Traversy are the OGs as far as supporting me. They're, I would say, the second wave of developers on YouTube. The first wave were people like Bucky and the tuna sandwich. You guys remember Bucky? Like, what is he doing nowadays? Didn't he have like a chess channel or something? He loves your channel, Renee says. Really? I mean, I have to catch up. Guys, I'm so behind. And I just need to come in quick on, because he used to do like a lot like daily live streams almost. I might have to, if he's still doing those, I might have to pop in and crash the channel. But no, that's great to hear. Daniel says, I love Laravel, but Django is much simpler. Agree. Yeah, and I love Laravel too. Something I haven't worked with for a while and have never deployed an actual like money-making project with Laravel, but I have played with some of the concepts, and I think Laravel does make PHP bearable sometimes. Okay. So going back to the Aunt Linda thing. And if you guys haven't noticed this, the live streams on RealToughCandy go here and there. And I know it drives some people batty, but it's very audience intensive. I like interacting with you guys and going back and forth and exchanging ideas. I think that's like a really powerful element of these live streams. Donovan says, CodingPhase, Traversy Media, and RTC have helped me greatly. They are the holy trinity of learning development. Donovan, for those of you who don't know, Donovan has another supporter since the start. Guys, I started doing this over 5 years ago, this YouTube channel. Donovan has been in the industry a very long time. Donovan, are you still in Michigan? Are you still... the last time we talked, I think you were working... Was it not a startup? I wish I could remember the name of it. What are you doing these days? Like, is this too personal to ask you in a live stream? But Donovan is really community minded also, and he does a lot of volunteering, as you mentioned earlier in the chat. Open-minded and open a lot of opportunities for him. And to see, he's still in Michigan. He says, all right, I'm still in the Midwest too. I'm not going anywhere. Love to travel, but this is it for me, baby. Rupert wants to be on this live stream. He's trying to interrupt my jam here. But okay, yeah, I need to do a lot of things. Game 013. Hey, I remember you too. Let's see this comment. Brad Traversy and CodingPhase are the only devs I know who are doing quality PHP and Laravel courses. CodingPhase has a Laravel course too? That's pretty cool. You're the reason I bought the PHP book by John Duckett and actually pushed me to learn PHP. I love that, Renee. And honestly, I was about to break up with John Duckett. In fact, we did have a breakup. He didn't consent, but I did to the breakup because you know what? I had been waiting for that book for years. Literally, I was like, if something can save this language for newbies and make it like sexy and attract, like just like, if for those of you not familiar with John Duckett, he published, I would say, one of the top tier classics in web development. Okay, I wish I had the book here. I don't, but my book collection is not on me right now. It's sadly far away from my reach. But the John Duckett style, the John Duckett books, life-changing. And especially for newbies, like lots of pictures, lots of graphics, lots of colors. Amazing. And then they were promising, it was Wiley Publishing. And I even wrote the publisher. I'm like, I was like wringing their necks. Like, Wiley Publisher, we need this John Duckett book. Like, come on, man. Don't. stop hating. Like, publish this book. And then I was like, you know what? And it was literally years. I think it was 2018. One of my subscribers, this Australian dude, was like, I don't know how he knew like the hot news, but he had the insider info that John Duckett was going to do a PHP book. And I'm like, this is the best thing to happen to PHP ever. 3 years later, I'm like, where's the book? Finally, it came out, and I was like one of the first people, and I had it on pre-order. That was it too. I had it on pre-order for like 2 years. Why am I getting so uptight and so excited about this? We waited 57 years for that PHP. I know, right, Sarah? Like, we're gonna be like skulls with cobwebs in our eye sockets by the time the freaking book comes out. I'm like, we can't wait. But mercifully, the gods of PHP were smiling down on all of us, and the book got published, and lives were changed, financial situations were improved, and the book rocks. John Duckett's PHP book. Oh, amazing. Awesome. Donovan says, also opening up a mentoring coaching business soon to help out get into development. Oh, man, Donovan, you're always up to some cool stuff. I love that. You're so what's the word? Industrious? I don't know. Is that even a word? Albir Tarsha says, I miss your early videos where you went for long walks just saying what's up. That's actually really good to know, Albir. I was thinking about maybe doing a couple of those videos, just like the walk-in talks, and catching you guys up with what's on my mind. This is exactly what I'm looking for, because I know what I like and I know what I want to talk about, but I'm actually here to help everyone, not just help, but yeah, make it something that you guys want to learn about, see about, talk about, enjoy about, chill about. We got 34 people in this live stream, guys. If you are in this live stream, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up. Let's get the ball rolling even further. Something about velocity and time. I don't know physics. Just let's do it. Rupert. Oh, I gotta show you guys something. If you have a pet, this isn't some Wiley product placement. Speaking of Wiley, this isn't a product placement, but this little lamb chop thing, as you can see, it's missing the tongue and ears. It's been totally this is embarrassing. I'm probably gonna get demonetized to show you like what's going on with this thing. If you have a small dog, oh my gosh, the lamb chop is like the absolute unit. Is this your rubber duck? Okay, how do I respond? This is like a new, let me give the heart comment. How do I heart a comment? I'm actually, is this your rubber duck for debugging? Yes, that's perfect. The audience, you guys are my rubber duck for debugging. I'm debugging. Yes. Oh, thanks for the thumbs up boost, guys. I appreciate that. And thanks, Sarah, for the Discord link. Guys, I haven't even gone back in the Discord. I'm trying to find my freaking credentials. A Discord is like nagging on me like a wife. Like, you have to update your name. I'm like, do I? I'm still trying to get logged in. Don't think I'm trying to ignore you even more than I said, ask the ducks. I'm trying to get back in my own freaking Discord, okay? It might be a few more days, but for those of you who can access the Discord, come on down. Sarah, I'm kind of excited and also scared to go back in and to see, it's kind of like a house that hasn't been occupied for a long time. And you're like, are there people squatting in there? Is there like obscene graffiti? Is there a colony of raccoons just like chilling, talking about HTML? What the duck? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to expect. So if you're looking for a grab bag, and again, I'm sorry to toot my own horn here. I was trying to think of some clever thing. I have the most diverse, truly, in thought, in demographic, in location, in experience, in interests, in background, in passion, the most diverse audience out there. And we all have that thread of being interested in technology. Some people on this channel who comment, they code for a hobby. I thought that was so dope. That's rare, right? Like, how rare is that someone has a normal job, they come home and work on personal projects just for the fun of it. It's like it's like a model trains or something, or like, I collect snow globes. I code for fun. I was like, wow, there's something to be said for that. That's a really cool hobby. Anyways, the point being, the Discord is a really fun place and lots of diverse backgrounds, different technologies, newbies, oldies, middles, everything. Come on down, and I'll be there as soon as I can recover my login credentials. And also, too, there have been so many people asking me about this music thing. Even before I was like trying to flex on my modest collection here. I got a Fender bass. I got a Fender bass and a hollow body electric over here. But yeah, I've been working on music. And that was the thing too. This past year, when I took that year off, the rest and recovery is more than just staying in bed being depressed. I wasn't staying in bed being depressed. I was resting. I was recovering, and I was doing things the way I wanted to do them. And it's an Epiphone. It's an ES295. It's the only Epiphone I'll ever own. Aside from those old school Les Pauls with like the glitter tops. Oh, I'm such a sucker for those. Like a champagne sparkle. Ah! If anyone knows where I can get a champagne sparkle. Oops, I'm trying to adjust this. If anyone knows where I can get a champagne sparkle Epiphone Epiphone Les Paul, let me know. Yeah, I got that in 2007, actually. And I just can't get myself to get rid of it. One of my very first electric guitars. Well, that's not even true. I guess it's the only guitar I haven't sold because I used to have a lot. Norman's Rare Guitar might have them. Oh, I haven't. RGC slap. I slap at a bass. I do. Yo, check out the isn't this so rad? Isn't this so look at this. Look at this. This is a 1980, I think it's an 86. It's a jazz bass special with power. It's called a power jazz bass special. I can never remember it because it's such an esoteric model made in Japan. This neck is absolutely indestructible. I've dropped this so many times when drinking. And I'm like, well, there we go, Nap's neck. Under normals, and I've snapped a few necks on guitars before, just like, boop, just very easily. You drop it, it's busted. That neck won't die. You can't kill it. You could probably use it as a lethal weapon. But yeah, so I was doing music. I was doing things that restore me and heal me. Because that burnout sucked, man. And I just wasn't interested in doing anything in tech. And I do love it. Oops, sorry. I gotta get back to lifting weights. I'm a little jiggly on a slap in the bass. Is this too personal? Who's talking about? I gotta check out this Norman's. Code Runner says, so where do you work now? Do you work as a software developer? I am a freelancer and I have not taken any work. So, and I'm not in a rush to. This is actually, I was like, let's see how YouTube works because I find I like YouTube. I like YouTube more than actually going like this. Okay, so it's like, here's the priority. Problem solving, YouTube, going like this. And so I haven't even I'm in no rush to get back to work. And as I mentioned in the video where I was burnt out, fortunately, the way I built my freelancing business and the way, just in general, my mentality of it, the way I was constructing it. Rupert, I know it's rough out there. It's hard out here for a 7-pound Papillon. Maybe I'll give him one of these. He's already had one of these, but I know I'm like one of those moms that just throws a TV in front of their kid's face, hoping they'll behave. Ooh, it's a double. I don't think you can handle that one. Sorry, guys. It's stuff like this where... All right. Hey, it worked. So I'm actually, if anyone, and this is an opportunity for me to put myself out there. If anyone out there has any freelancing opportunities, preferably with PHP or WordPress, I'm trying to stay away from I really don't like working with JavaScript. I'll do it, but not really my number one pick. But if anyone out there knows anyone who is looking for a PHP developer or a WordPress developer, send me an email, realtoughcandy@gmail.com. Anyways, slap in the bass. But going back, music heals the soul, says Sarah. Oh, it so does. Aaliyah says, as a web developer, are you curious about learning Rust, web dev, or Rust or otherwise? Rust. Oh, in Rust we trust. I had been exploring Rust as a personal interest prior to my break. It's another thing. It's on the list. Not necessarily something I'm trying to like really rush back into, but I like the possibility of Rust. I like how fast. I mean, there's just so many, I guess, selling points of it. And honestly, the more I work with these different languages, Go, even Ruby, which is not, I mean, Ruby's not up and coming, and it's not really something people talk about on a daily basis, at least on YouTube. I think some of these languages are really fun to work with. And the thing about when I took my break, I was like coming back and feeling refreshed. I'm like, I do love this stuff, and I want to check out more of these languages and explore them. Because there's just so much more. There's more to life than JavaScript, and not to hate on JavaScript because, you know, it does pay us, but it's not my number one pick. Lila Lass says, "Hey, welcome, Lilia. Sorry if I mispronounce names so often. Hey, I came across Josh Como's who? Have to check this guy out. Website recently. Has anyone tried his courses? I have not heard of this person. I'm gonna check that out. Donovan says, I'll keep you in mind, RTC for PHP WordPress if I run into any. Thanks, Donovan. Yeah, and no rush. Just if you think of me, let me know. I'd really appreciate that. Thank you so much. But going back, okay, that was a big diversion. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We have been what time is it even? Oh my god, we've been here an hour. Like I've barely talked about the topic. You guys have some like I just like love reading the comments. Levplex says Michigan mentioned party. I plan to move there once I'm done with uni. I'm from South America. Hope I find a good job there. You know, and the other thing too about Michigan, I actually have I been in Michigan? So obviously the big city there, Detroit, but there's also I used to be really good with geography. So what is the other? Oh, come on. I'm hitting a wall. What are some other cities in Michigan? I really Grand Rapids. There's one that starts with a T. Probably not. Anyways, there's some other larger cities in Michigan, and yeah, I think the Midwest really. Can I just say the Midwest gets overlooked a lot for dev jobs? And again, going back to being open-minded, a lot of these jobs that have dried up or startups that are not hiring because the money isn't cheap to borrow anymore. It's not as cheap. They're startups in Silicon Valley. And the reality is the majority of developers, and this is something you can Google, the majority of software developers do not work in Silicon Valley. Now, that's not to negate the fact that some of these jobs are drying up and they're just not there, and it is a little harder. However, if you expand your search, you will see, as I did in 2018, there are lots of mom and pop shops and businesses nobody's ever heard of that are dying for developers. My first enterprise job, I should say, my first 9 to 5 as a software developer was as ranky-dink IBM affiliate. Okay, it was on the IBM I server, the AS400. Completely foreign to me, never worked with it, didn't know anything about it, complete code newbie. You know how much? Lansing, Ann Arbor, Grand Rapids. Yes, those are exactly the cities I was looking for. There's stuff going on in Michigan. There's stuff going on in the Midwest. People can hate. People can hate. And I do appreciate some of the criticisms, but also too, this is a breadbasket for me. I've had some really good opportunities here, and again, I don't plan on going anywhere anytime soon. Anyways, at my delivery, RTC, ta-da for now. See you at the next live. Glad you're back. Thanks, Gold Price. See you soon. We're gonna be doing some more live streams too, and yeah, have a good rest of your day, and happy St. Patty's Day, and have a good weekend. Where was I? What was I even talking about? It's time for another hangover swig. If you're just joining us, welcome. Today's topic ostensibly is about Aunt Linda. How software developers, how software developers are called upon to fix printers, set up Kindles, charge batteries, fix the faucet, what have you. and how we can leverage that to our advantage. So, which I still need to get into, and we're already an hour in the live stream, but there's a lot of catching up to do, I'm sorry to say. Hey, Bree Powered, I remember you. How's it going? I'm originally from Northwest Indiana, now living in Central Florida, and I miss it. You know, there I get it. I lived in Florida too for a bit, and I actually love Florida. So, not only no income tax, which is not even like a high priority for me, like that state, I just think it's so beautiful. Ugh, I was in the Panhandle. I wasn't even in like the most amazing part, but like those sugar sand beaches. When I first drove, when I got out of the military, I bought this 1979 Dodge B100 Scooby-Doo shaggin' wagon hippie van. And I was living in Minnesota. It was November. It was cold. And I'm like, what am I doing? This is so lame. So I'm like, I'm going to drive until it gets warm. And I ended up in Florida. And I remember driving that van, windows down, sun shining, blue sky bright. And I look to my right and I see the most turquoise crystal waters. So serene, so beautiful. I've never seen anything like it. And the sand, it was white, sugar sand. Fort Walton Beach, Florida. And it was wintertime, so all the tourists, no one was there. And I pulled over and I got out and I stepped on that sand and I said, this is a paradise. It's no wonder people are flocking there. It's no wonder. It's no wonder. It's beautiful. I love it so much. And it's actually, the rent I was paying, it's actually not that expensive to live there I think for the amenities, in my opinion. My dream is to live in a van down by the river. My dream is to live in a van down by the white sand beaches. RTC pulling a Chris Farley over here. No, but oh man. Yeah, just like exploring America. But yeah, I mean, I'm back in the Midwest. This is where I'm from. And I'm open to relocation, but the cost of living is kind of a benefit. But anyways, so the first dev job was at a rinky-dink. It was at a rinky-dink IBM affiliate. You know what my salary was? This was in 2018, so it wasn't even that long ago. My salary was $45,000 a year. I think that scratches out to about $21.50 an hour. Like marginal benefits. Cheesecake or DQ cake on your birthday. I remember talking to the owner of the company, and that was one of the benefits he threw out. He was like very proud of that fact, and I'm like, ooh, do I want can I get a dilly bar too, or what? And so that was like a benefit. Because it was such a small business, he couldn't find a healthcare plan that was affordable, so we'd get like a stipend. Like it was like 150 or $200 a month to like find our own healthcare. I just kept the cash. Knock on wood, I'm in relatively good health. So I was just like, well, just pocket it and pay out of pocket if something horrible happens. Or do like some people do and just get the invoice and just be like, well, hey, it's medical debt. You can't put it on my credit report. Ringo88 says, graduated 6 months ago with a full stack cert from a boot camp. I've been so burned out that I haven't touched my portfolio projects or coded since. Saw your comeback vid a few days ago and I relate. Ringo88, I feel you too. I feel you too. Can I ask what? Well, no, I don't need to know what boot camp you went to. I was just kind of curious. If you want to answer and you're comfortable, I'm just curious in general. But the full stack certificate, those things will kick your butt. Those things will kick your butt, even if it's a self-paced one like I did the Codecademy review, the full stack engineer path. It's like, dude, is this ever going to be over? They just like, this path, this career path can really grind you down and really wear you out. Donovan says, going to head out to hunt down some lunch. Great live stream. Take care all in RTC. Thanks, Donovan. Always great seeing you. And have fun with lunch. That doesn't sound too bad, actually. Ringo 88, Coding Dojo. Okay. Jose Marcos says, would you sing? I do. So many people interested in that. I'll have to share some of my music. I'm not quite ready to share it quite yet. But if I might share it on the Discord or in the live stream one of these days soon. But yeah, I do. I sing. I try to anyway. I mean, I don't know. It's more of like a squeak than a sing, but something I do and how I express myself, and I find it really therapeutic. Not to mention, I just love music. So I was $45,000 a year, and honestly, looking back at my skill set, it that's what I would have paid myself. That's I if I interviewed my now it's hard to be objective, right? Because it's me. But if I was interviewing someone with that skill set at that time, I'd be like, "You know what? This person needs a lot of training." I do like their attitude. And they do I like their portfolio because my portfolio was pretty good. I had projects from freelancing, okay? Again, going back to Aunt Linda, I did have some projects that were procured as a result of working with the Aunt Lindas in my life. Developers, it all relates. It all comes back. It's all intermingled and it's all intertwined. If I had been closed minded to some of these people, now mind you, they're a pain in my butt too. I don't want to fix your freaking candle, but I did. And as a result, it got me real world experience and working with people. Should I turn this light on? Hold on. Marginal difference. Um, it got me working with people, and actually that communication process is a really good skill to have, especially if you're going to be owning your own business in this industry or freelancing, because communication is extremely important. Yes, we all know of those super coders who are almost like savants. They can't talk. They just like communicate in like grunts. Like, hey Rick, can you push push to production? Sorry to inconvenience you, my lord. Um, but communication is extremely important in this industry. Great stream, going out to go and enjoy Los Angeles weather. Heck yeah, I was in California in September, Lafta. I freaking love California. I don't know why people well, I do get why people hate on it, but, I was in, like, Santa Monica and Glendale and, like, the LA area. I was also in the Salton Sea. Sarah, have you been to the Salton Sea? Has anyone here been to the Salton Sea? That was insane. It was insane. I would go back, though. I drove from Del Mar to the Salton Sea, and I just it was crazy. The quickness in which the geography and, climates change, and the species of animals and, trees and shrubs and greenery, the quickness. You'll be in a desert 1 minute, and then 15 minutes later, you'll be in, like, a pine forest up in the mount like, it was crazy how fast the topography and the geography and geology transformed. Anyways, point being, I love California. Salton Sea is weird. It's so weird. And it was extremely desolate. And I was like, there was like, I don't know. It was just crazy. That's all I'll say on that. So, anyways, first dev job, $45,000. I was probably worth that. He offered me $35,000. And I was like, dude, even at that time to me, 35K, that's like C store first starting out, zero skill. That's like zero skill. Um, and I did have skills. I had studied for a year and I had been freelancing for 2. So I knew I did have skills, and I was a significant level above completely new. But I also knew I didn't know anything about this AS400 thing. But again, going back to one of the points, um, a lot of these jobs that are drying up are in startups. They're in places where previously there was a lot of free money. Um, but there's always going to be that mom and pop shop in your local area that's just desperate to hire. Like, I could throw out some example. I could name drop right here. And if anybody is interested in hearing more about that, I'm not necessarily going to be doing a huge live stream on it, but it is something to consider. Maybe one of we can. Why am I? Sorry, I promise. My nose itches. I don't know what's going on. Is it a nervous tick? Maybe one of these live streams we can go over some of these jobs, and I can kind of illustrate what I'm talking about, because I think there is like a lot of people do get scared, and like not scared, but worried. Am I going to get a job? Is this worth it? And I think unfortunately some people do give up because they do get dejected, and it is understandable. But also, I saw this really cool graphic a couple years back where this miner is like mining his way through this tunnel, and he's just like over it. He's exhausted. The bead of sweat dripping down his cheek, or is it a teardrop? We don't know. He's this close from the gold mine, and he turns around. Years of the chiseling through this hard rock and sedimentary rock, volcanic, whatever. I don't know. And he's that close to the gold and he turns around. And I think that's a good way to illustrate how some people, even, I've done that too, where it's just like, oh, it's just too much. It's just too much. But you never know how close you are. And it just illustrates how important it is to just try and see it through. Just try. Just try. Just try. Just try. And you don't know what opportunity is behind that door, but it could be something big. And is that something you want to risk by saying no? Now, mind you, there will be some times, perhaps, where you do say yes to someone who's a real pain in the butt. What's this thumbs up thing on my screen? You were just disappeared. Why was there like this thumbs up? Did you guys see that? Did someone take over my machine? C. Williams has been a Joshua tree. No, it's on my list. Anza Borrego and the statues are cool. Yeah, I think, is that between Del Mar and the Salton Sea? Anza Borrego. Why does that sound familiar? Don't burn out on live stream. Sarah, I know I needed to actually hear this. I was just disappeared. Can you guys still see me? Please tell me I'm still in the live stream. I don't know what happened. I saw like some weird Apple reactions. Oh, is that what that is? I'm so like behind on the curve of what's going on with these new like small improvements, Apple reactions. Like, but who reacted and why is it on my screen? Like, who is controlling the live stream? Eat the bugs. Where was I? I'm gonna get some comments on this live stream afterward, like, RTC, get to the frickin' point. I am. This is all part of the point. Try throwing a peace sign. But like, how though? How do I do it? Like, how do I get it to show up on my screen? I didn't touch it. And can I super chat my own like, can I super chat my own thing? Andre says Salton Sea is not supposed to be there, just desert. I think it's intriguing. I think it's a modern dystopian wonder. And I can't believe more like people haven't filmed horror movies there. Cody Dead says, man, you earned a lot and are spending on yourself. Sometimes you just got to indulge. You got to treat yourself right no matter how much you're making or not making. I mean, if I was really rolling and I probably, well, I don't know. Ask me in a few years. I don't know. But so the thing I wanted to tell you guys about the Aunt Linda effect. So here is one example. This is a timestamp moment, guys, because I'm actually going to tell you one real world specific scenario where this happened. So 2016, I'd been spending time learning how to code. I've been doing the boot camps. I didn't know hardly anything. I noted, what do they say? What's that silly saying? I know just enough just to be dangerous. That was kind of me. And I get this, I don't know if it was a text or email, doesn't matter. So this woman who I knew, her husband owned a little junk shop. And she's like, really sweet lady, right? And she's like, I have this iPhone and I don't know how to transfer my photos from my iPhone to my iPad. Can you help me? Now, the way she asked, it's all about the angle of the dangle. Like, this woman was very sweet and nice and kind. And at the time, I didn't have clients. I didn't have any social proof. And I was like, you know what? This is a great opportunity. Because, like, even if I'm not getting paid, I will have an endorsement from this woman because she's the wife of a business owner. So it was me like looking forward and strategizing and thinking, you know what? How can I leverage this? ABL, always be leveraging. You know, there's that thing that ABC, always be coding. ABC, always be coding. ABL, always be leveraging. Or ABPS, always be problem solving. Always be leveraging. So I'm thinking, okay, this is the wife of a business owner. I'm specializing in e-commerce websites. Like it's my thing, it's my niche. I think it is anyway. I don't see like the downside to this. So we agree to meet. We met at a coffee shop. I was there for 20 minutes. I transferred her photos from her iPhone to her iPad. She slipped me a $20 bill. We laughed. She might have even bought me a coffee, double shot, by the way. No cheaping out here. Um, so it was that, and not only that, she put a good word in. She put a good word in, and it was a small town, and word gets around fast. The other thing, I was Aunt Linda, and now this one was not as exciting because this business owner, can I just say this guy? Well, I won't say the word. But he not normally the type of person I'd get along with. And that was a big lesson too, because it's not about getting along with someone necessarily. It's about getting paid and providing a service, which is a really hard lesson for me because I tend to take things personally. And when it's your name on your business card and someone undermines that or someone says something rude, or condescending, you don't want to work with that person. Like, get out of my life. Like, you know what I mean? Like, get out of my life. Like, find someone else, call someone else. But I did take that job as well. And you know what? It wasn't even related to software development. I wasn't even related to tech. They were like, we know you're into computers and like graphic design. Do you want to take some photos? Do you want to do some headshots? Because it was a business for real estate. A real estate agency. So I took some headshots. That was, a $20 bang it out in 10 minutes. That was more like a half hour. But anyways, those are powerful connections. And even if it was I don't want to say bad experience, but even if it wasn't your proudest moment, you're gonna have somebody in a position of power remembering you. They might not even remember your name, but they remember what you do and they remember what you did for them. And business people tend to have really powerful networks. Even business people who aren't thriving, maybe past the point of glory, they still know people and they still have problems. And at the end of the day, timestamp this one, star it, return to it, because this is the point. We've been going for an hour and 15. Longest meandering way to get to a point, but I appreciate you guys sticking it out. At the end of the day, if you are a problem solver, you will always get paid. If you just do this, you probably get paid too. But it's not as sustainable and it's not as wide of a door to open for the opportunities. The problem solving mentality and thinking forward and being like, how can I leverage this? And like I said, eventually, because of these Aunt Lindas, we know she works in computers somehow. We don't necessarily know how or what, or, we log on to Facebook and like it's working. How hard can it be? Because I took those opportunities, I was able to create a portfolio, not from these things. Like I didn't put like my photos from a real estate agency in my developer portfolio, but it opened doors where it got me job interviews. And as a new developer, you have to, in my opinion, you have to have a portfolio and it can't be a to-do app. It just can't be. It's just, I don't know. And going back to that video that guy did, again, I think his name's like Kenny Gunderson or something. I'm sorry if it's totally wrong. But he's like, yeah, like you can't just put a to-do app in your portfolio. And I think actually most people do realize that and do make some effort to make it their own. But at the same time, I actually don't know of any employer who would hire someone based on a to-do app in a portfolio. Like, I don't know in what year or what scene that was actually happening. I mean, maybe. But just a lot of interesting, finer points to consider. But yeah, the point being, saying yes to these Aunt Lindas really helped me out in my career. Now, let me tell you something else. They're not all that great. Another thing, another Aunt Linda, it's kind of a meme at this point where people find out you're a software developer and they're like, oh, I have this app idea. And you're just like, wow, who doesn't? Like, good for you. Yeah, it's called Facebook. And they'll go on and on. So I was working actually before I was doing freelancing, but I was also like supplementing that with various jobs. I was contracting with Target to like hand out Starbucks samples to people. Do you guys remember the Cascara flavor at Starbucks? That one was memory hold, but I did sample that one out. I like it. I also I miss sorry to sound basic, but I do miss the cloud macchiato. It's the one thing where I'm like, this is my gem. It was so smooth, but I don't know what they're thinking. They get rid of all the good stuff. But I was bartending. The thing about bartending is that it is good money. It's really, I don't find it rewarding though. It's just kind of like a stopgap job. So I was doing that to like, you know, have some supplementary income as I was like struggling as a freelancer and getting started and studying web development. So I'm working, 25 hours a week at this bar. And this woman I work with finds out, she's like, so what are you into? I'm like, well, I'm actually into this thing. I'm into web development. She's like, oh, okay. Most people don't know how to have a conversation based on that because it is something that people can't relate to. But she's like, the one thing they can relate to is their app idea. She's like, I have this app idea. She was this what do you call them? Like mushroom hunter. So she'd go to public lands and like hunt for morels or morel. I think it's called morel, MOREL mushrooms. They're really valuable. And I think they're the state mushroom in Minnesota, which if true, I don't know if you can pick them if they're the actual, it's kind of like the lady slipper. I think the lady slipper is the state flower. And if it's something like government embraced, like you can't, it's like a bald eagle, like you can't touch it. I don't know if that's true or not. But anyway, she was a mushroom hunter and she's like, my idea is I go to these public lands and but I don't know at what point the public lands separate from private lands. And it would be really helpful if there was an app where I could go to these public lands and see on a map or get an alert when I'm encroaching on private property. Because, come. Oh, Rupert's pawing at the treat bag. Hold on, guys. Rupert, I know this is a horrible idea and I'm going to regret my life because this is going to blow you up. However, we are still doing this live stream. I need some Oh. I was like, I need a strong person to come help me. Here we go. Come on. Go, take it. So I was like, that's kind of a cool idea. And I really wanted to explore it more and even just being open to that. Now, I wasn't about to go down and like create this entire app for this woman, but I was like, let's explore it. Let's explore it a little bit more and see what happens. So it kind of got my brain thinking about the architecting of it and the planning of it. Like, how would this work? I don't know anything about mobile development. And I was like, well, what do I know? What do I know for sure? Okay, step one. What is the problem? Problem statement. This woman wants to know if she's on private property. That's like a simple problem statement, right? Kind of just like cuts to the matter. Starting with the problem statement is where everything else flows from. And if your problem statement is incorrect, you're going to have a bad product. And if your problem statement is correct, but a little off and not fine-tuned, you will have an app that works, but it might not be optimal. So having that problem statement and knowing that problem statement, understanding that problem statement is absolutely key. And from there, everything flows. Everything flows. I don't know, left to right, top to bottom. But you have to have that problem statement. You have to understand, you have to intimately understand that problem you're going to solve. Again, going back to problem solving mentality versus typing mentality, coding mentality. Problem solving will always get you paid no matter what the job market is. Always, 100%. And when you combine problem solving with software development, guys, it's the winning combo. IMHO, IMHO. So when I like, fine tune that problem statement, it doesn't necessarily have to be one sentence, but I find that less is almost more impactful than like a huge paragraph. Now, this is not a problem statement tutorial, but just to illustrate, know your problem that you're going to solve. Otherwise, your product is not going to be as good as it could be. And it might not even solve the problem, the actual problem. Okay. So, problem statement: woman wants to stay away from private property when on public property. Oh, there's a finer tune right there. There's a finer tune statement, problem statement. So it's like, okay, based on that problem statement, what do we need? We need maps. We need open maps. And that was the problem I ran into. Number one. And this is where it gets fun, because the big problem is now being torn down into smaller problems. I know, even without writing it out, even without doing a consult with my mentor, my tech mentor, one of them. By the way, guys, if you are a newbie, even if you're not, it's always okay to have more than one mentor. Like, I don't know why people think there's no need for a starvation, or what is it called? Famine mentality or whatever. Abundance mentality. Have 4 freaking mentors. Why not? It's always good to have different opinions anyway. Cody Dead says Google Maps. We need something a little more fine-tuned, though, because Google Maps does not indicate the actual legal property line. It's just a guess on the boundary. And what she needed was something a little more fine-tuned. And from my years of being a geography nerd and just in general, I'm going to tell you guys something. Back in the day, I used to read the dictionary just for fun. And not so long ago, I used to go on county map websites just for fun. Just to be a nosy Nancy, to see who owns what. What's Rochelle's property worth? Where's her property line? Like, what is her legal property line? And what is the legal description of this? So, knew I needed some maps. Knew I needed a data set based on the maps with actual legal property lines. And so my thought was, okay, county website. Now the county websites are not the people, the government workers in the county. Okay, they're working with geography and those information systems. Okay. However, they're not developing them. They're usually coming from these map aggregators, or what's that big company that really, they have a monopoly on geographical information. Most of it's paid, but it's really powerful. Andre says most municipalities now have online GIS systems that will show you the exact location of all boundaries and property lines. Exactly. Bingo. ARC. That's what it is. ARC. Yep. ARC. They are the supreme beings of leisure in why did I say that? They are supreme when it comes to geographical information, with counties, especially all across America. The problem, so I was like, okay, here's a good starting point. I know where this information is. I know where to find it. It's still kind of abstract. We still have the problem, but we're getting little by little, these little advancements. Now, here was the problem. Now that I knew kind of generally where I had to go for that, if you read the terms and every county, when you access that information, they make you click on an agreement. It's a big one. It's their rules and regulations and the legalities of you using their system. Now, logging into that system, and if you read those terms and conditions, you don't want to be data scraping on their system. Now, could you data scrape and ask for forgiveness later? Maybe. But because it was a government entity, it wasn't something I was willing to experiment with. Because that was my original thought. I'm like, okay, how do I? There's no, because a lot of like, where's the API on it? Like, government websites don't have that API because they don't want you using their system. Well, I mean, that's a broad statement and probably incorrect overall. So let me retract that. The site that I was accessing for this particular county did not have an API. When you don't have an API, you do have alternatives. You can data scrape. However, it's usually against the terms and conditions, understandably. So I was like, well, I can't like, and I was really excited too. I was like, man, I want to build a data scraper because it was at that time I was learning about stuff like that. And just like the power of tech, guys, when you have not exactly knowing how to do it, but when you understand that there are resources and there are things you can manipulate and control to create these things, wow, how powerful. And I was like getting hyped. I was like, man, I want to see how far I can take this. But the data scraping part, I was like, I'm kind of up against a wall. And the other thing too was that she wanted a mobile app and I didn't know anything about that. So that's when I started experimenting or researching stuff like PhoneGap and Cordova, where you could, I don't know what the word would be, like port your web app to a mobile app. And there's stuff like PWAs and stuff like that. But at the time I was thinking more like, okay, PhoneGap is probably going to be one of the solutions. So that was really eye-opening. And it was almost like training and a free education just from this woman, another Aunt Linda, who, found out I'm a web developer and she's like, I would love to see this app. And I still think that's a cool idea. Like, I think there's so many possibilities with geographically or geocentric apps. Big possibilities, big time. The problem I came into, and I think one of the issues is the data sets are a government can I want to be accurate. It's hard to access the data. Now, there are things like ARC where you can pay for a subscription. And if you know how to manipulate those things, they have some amazing data sets and amazing ways you can APIs and things. You don't have to data scrape using that, but they don't necessarily have the information you're looking for. However, man, I'm talking about third world country like India. Our GIS systems all over the world are just, how do you guys say? Is it like GIF or GIF? GIS or GIS? GIS? I say GIS or GIT, whatever. They should be all over the world. Like, I actually don't know. I can only speak for North America or even just America in general. I check it out though, because there is a lot of possibilities. Yeah, I'm talking about the US. GIF, I know. I gotta. Should I just say GIS? I'm just gonna say GIS so as not to cause confusion, which is probably how you say it anyway. Julio, what's up? Good to see you. Welcome everybody to the live stream. We're going on an hour and a half. I think that the main point of this video has been illustrated. However, I do want to talk about a few more things and just kind of tie it all back, because there is one more Aunt Linda story I have. That was Aunt Linda number 2. And again, I was open-minded to it. And because of that, it honed my problem-solving process. And, I learned things outside of a Colt Steel boot camp. That's the type of training and education that I'm here for. An actual problem. And again, if you can solve problems, you will always get paid. It doesn't matter what the industry. It doesn't matter. Problem solvers have been in demand since the beginning of mankind. And because you are a problem solver in this industry, which is lucrative, it's cake. It's cake. It's cake. And if you're just going like this, you can still make money. But problem solvers get paid. They do. Open-minded problem solvers really get paid. They have unlimited opportunities. They never have to go far to look for work. And if they play their cards right, they can take some time off and not have to worry about it. Thank God. And to be honest, sometimes I'm just ready for retirement. I'm not quite there yet. But yeah, I'm ready to do some more things in my life. And because of software, that possibility is greater and greater. Rigo88 says, I had an idea to use data scraping to train AI to put in apps shotgun style for dev jobs since the market sucks. Sadly, with most job sites, it violates terms of service. Sad face. Exactly. And that's the rub. There's the rub because we do have these great ideas and like the sky's the limit. And then it's the counterparty that's like the counterparty is blocking us from being great. Like, come on, Skynet. Come on. I'm trying to be great here. But the terms of service, they're real killers. And it's not something I would recommend violating ever, especially on a live stream, especially with like a government agency. Not interested. There are so many other things that I could do. Or they charge you heavily for scraping. Shawshank Sharma, exactly. Exactly. And it's that balance though, if you're getting paid, if you're actually getting paid to build an app that requires you to pay something in access for your subscription. Oh, Arc is like hella expensive. At least the tiers I was looking, because there's like different ones, but it can get really pricey really quickly. And these businesses are getting a little smart, getting a little wily. I use this word like 3 times in 3 different contexts on this live stream. They get a little coy with the pricing scheme. So it's like the more you use, the more you pay. It's like, can I just pay one time? They don't want you having too much fun with their data or whatever they're giving you access to. The pay as you go model can be beneficial sometimes. Other times, not so much. Yeah. Cody Dead says, playing acoustic, please. I gotta be honest, acoustic is not my favorite to play. I find it really hard to like play aside from basic like campfire chords. I love my electrics. Twitter. Wait a minute. Shawshank, is this true? Can we get a fact check on this? Twitter was free before X. Now they charge $100 per week with restrictions? Really? That's insane. Are you saying to data scrape or for what? Like, what's the $100? What's the fee for? That's insane. I haven't been on the socials. And lots of stuff has changed. Alex Castano says same as clouds. Exactly. Cloud subscriptions are real. Man, they'll really take your money if you're not, especially if you're not optimized with your usage. Oh, you got to be careful with that, guys. It adds up really fast. The point being, some of this stuff is expensive. So just as a general heads up, if you do take a client where you are needing to pay for a service, be sure you research how much the service is before you give them a quote or agree to do the job. Even if you're helping an Aunt Linda, you don't want to disappoint them. That's the last thing you want to do, especially as a newbie. You always want to go that extra mile and just leave them with the fuzzy, warm feelings in their heart. Speaking of which, am I into metal? Yo, Cody. Okay. Check this out. Let me go grab this record. Okay, hold on, everybody. Welcome. Don't go anywhere. Hold on. I gotta show you guys this rad metal record. I ran into a door. Guys, okay. I don't know how many people listen to metal here. I am not the biggest metal fan. However, this album by Razor, they're an 80s doom death metal band. The name of this album is called Violent Restitution. They're from Canada. This is an OG pressing. This album melts my freaking face off. Seriously, if you're into metal, yes, Cody did. Oh man, you have got to check this out. I think it's on YouTube. I don't care where you find it. Listen to it. It might even be on Spotify. It's so good. Yeah, Doom. Oh, totally Doom. It's a concept album. All of these songs are about violent restitution. So if you're really angry, I would recommend that album. So good. Anyways, just had to show that off. Where were we? Data scraping. Sorry, guys. Brief intermission. Cody's into metal. Yeah, what kind of music are you guys into? And it does relate to coding because I am constantly listening to music when I code. I really love vaporwave, and like future funk when I'm coding. A lot of people are into that chill out stuff, like the lo-fi beats, which I used to be into, but not so much these days. They kind of sound Taylor Swift. All right, lo-fi chill. There we go. K-Sil, what's up? Neurofunk. CG Casa, fill me in. What's neurofunk? My antenna are like throbbing over here. Neurofunk. Sounds cool. Okay, synthwave. Ooh, I like these. Hold on, let me. You know what? For real, I gotta jot these down. Jazzy lo-fi, jazzy lo-fi. I love a good. I'll step back. I'll retract my statement. Jazzy lo-fi in doses is such a vibe. Megadeth. I was gonna see them at Sturgis. I ended up seeing not Two Live Crew. Oh, it wasn't Megadeth. It was who's that? Guar. Guar was at Sturgis, the bike rally. C. Williams Squirrel. C. Williams, I'm curious. I heard that. I saw that comment earlier. I'm quite intrigued. I just listened to my cat purring. Love it. House music. Yeah. Like old school house music, Renee? Like what era? Some house music will get me hyped. Not to code, but to just like party. Man, yeah, at a good party. J-pop, Disturb, Killswitch, Engage, and Light the Torch, Simforce. Oh, you guys are dropping some good stuff here. Carbon-based life forms. Sorry, guys, let me just write this down quick because if I go back into this chat, I'll never find this stuff. Dog lovers get it. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I'm like kind of a new dog mom-ish. Yeah. Oh, Rupert's been chilling this entire time. Oh, we heard his name. Let me Neurofunk. I gotta write some of this down. Because I do vaporwave is my go-to. But I'm always interested in these new styles and different styles and stuff. Synthwave says next door Panda Lo-fi. What else? The Rabbit One AI phone. No, Shawshank. Tell me more about the Rabbit One AI phone. Yeah. And by the way, guys, I've been out for a year. I know a lot of stuff has changed. If there's anything, I mean, what should be on my radar now as far as web development trends? Like, has anything changed? And I'm like going through, and I'm just catching up with course creators and stuff, and I'm like, what's Colt Steele up to? What are like the YouTubers up to? What's on trend right now? Not that I'm gonna drop everything and be a fangirl for like Node, but I'm curious, like what's up and coming, and what are people really vibing on? I saw this guy, I think his name's Theo. Somebody created jQuery OS or something. I'm like, hello, can I download this? Let me get this music, these genres written down here. T Swift, synthwave. Yeah, I want to check out the synthwave. I probably have listened to it, but I just didn't know the name of it. And let's see, Burning Man vibes by Ollie Mundy. Interesting. Get down with the sickness. I didn't start listening to is it Apex or Aphex Twins until becoming a William Montgomery fan, but dude is a drum and bass guy. I love drum and bass. Yo, one of my favorite albums of all time is called A New High in Drum and Bass. It was a double album. One is the remix and one is the unmixed. Oh man, I vibe so. Oh man, it just gets me going. I'll listen to that over and over. It's like orange juice. Like daily, I'll do it. Whatever, whenever, day, night, whenever. Carbon-based life forms. I'm gonna check them out too. Carbon-based life forms. If you're just joining the live stream, welcome everyone. I'm writing down some music recommendations from my amazing subscribers who have some good taste in music. jQuery is a problem solver, dude. Seriously, like. I miss jQuery. I really am disappointed in some of these trends where, I get it because it is outdated, but it was also really, really, really fun to work with. Kind of like how people miss Flash. You guys remember Flash? And Apple was like, oh, sorry, we're not going to support that anymore. Like Flash artists and wow, that made the internet fun. Yeah, Ian knows. I remember we had this conversation before a couple years back where where we were talking about Flash a little bit. It's still used by Adobe. Oh, is it? I'm curious. Flash was just, wow, amazing. Julio says, in general, I just miss when we didn't have millions of JavaScript frameworks. Yeah, there's no doubt. Like this next thing, I get it. But it's also not something I'm gonna hop in to do and study up unless I absolutely have to. And it's it's that point in my career, and it's always been, I think, always in our careers in general. It should be on a need to know basis, unless you're interested in it just in general. For example, I've been really interested in algorithms lately, in the history of algorithms. I'm doing this video on the my top 5 favorite free Python courses, and there's this one on Educative. It's solving algorithms in Python. They say it's a 28-hour course, but I swear to you, I spent an hour just on, like, the first page, just studying, the history of algorithms and how the earliest algorithms were passed down through the different cultures, and the evolution of algorithms and the evolution of how humans understand math. Like, and then, of course, seeing, like, the mind-blowing, you guys know that meme where the woman, she's a blonde lady? Is it Julie? It's not Julia Roberts. I don't know who it is, but she's, like, looking up at, like, really obscure mathematical formula. That's how I felt, where I was just like, wow, this is amazing. Like, I don't know anything. This is not my history. Like, this is not something that I studied in high school and college on my own. And I'm studying it right now. And this is really awesome. I would love to build these algorithms. Is it my calling? No. But it's kind of like those hobbyist coders I was talking about earlier in the stream, where I think one of my hobbies right now is studying the history of math. Sorry to be a geek, but I think it's really cool. Oh, Julio says, "I subbed to the Primeagen." I like his channel. You know, listened to what his I guess you wanna call it maybe like a testimony, or is that too, like, hippy dippy? I listened to his video where he was just kinda talking about his coding journey and, like, his past life before he got into tech, and, I really respect him for that. I respect people on YouTube, um, who are honest and forthright about how their life maybe didn't work out and how bad their life was. I guess maybe it's a trauma bond thing. I don't know, but I just, as someone who is also on YouTube, um, and, you know, you're there, most people are strangers that you're talking to, and to be that open about a really hard time in your life and how you overcame that obstacle, how you problem solved, the Primeagen truly problem solved and overcame addiction, depression, drug use, you know, the whole gamut, and Brad Traversy as well. CodingPhase, like a lot of these people, that's the people who, you know, it is YouTube and there is a barrier. Like, this is me on a live stream, but I'm also a real person. And so are these other people, whether you have 10,000 imaginary subscribers or 2 million real ones. We're all real people here. I think there might be some AIs in the chat, but you know, so many, when I logged on to do this live stream, nearly everyone I recognize their name after a year, and that's just, it warms my heart. I'm sorry to say. Sorry to get goofy. Um, but yeah, point being, the Primeagen, I really enjoyed, hearing his story, and he's a cool dude, yeah, and he's excited about tech, and he's been doing it for a while, and to see that enthusiasm still is really cool to see. But yeah, someone made an OS with jQuery. Like, I really wanna see it. Alex Castano says, "Oh, yes, Apple killed it. Macromedia Director and Lingo. We have a new JavaScript, runtime Winter.js." Winter.js? That's a new one for me. That's a new one. Okay, let's see what else people are saying with, what I need to get hip to, aside from carbon-based life forms and Megadeth. Svelte and Astro. Rust, that's a good one, Alex. That's a really good one. Rust, Svelte. Now there is a name I haven't heard in a while. What's she up to these days? What's Svelte up to these days? I'm just reading over some of these comments. Let's see. Keep them coming, guys. Thanks for your support. Welcome to the live stream. We'll go for a little bit more, and then I gotta wrap it up. I gotta run to the hardware store now that I'm a homeowner. So, okay, can I just throw this out there? I'm getting a little annoyed. I have at least 2 feral cats on my property. They make noise. They're disgusting. I love animals, but they're really kind of ratchet. I'm over it, and I don't want to be inhumane. What can I do? So I looked at the perimeter of my property, and there was an area. I don't have a basement. I have a crawl space. Somehow they've dug tunnels, like some sort of, I don't know, military, and like are inhabiting my property, and I need to get does anybody, I know this is so random, but there's 27 people in here. I know one of you has had experiences with feral cats. Please, am I an Alan Watts fan? Make them run out. I tried. I stopped on my floor. I'm like, if you don't get out of here, you've been formally served, and you don't have 30 days to get out. You got about 30 minutes before I get really angry. Hey, what's up, Sarah? She's back for a hot minute. Good to see you again. I love seeing people pop back in and out. I don't want them around. No, they're just nasty. They have fleas. They're loud. They're beautiful. I think they're deceiving. They're kind of like, I don't know. You guys play D&D? Like, they're kind of like drows. Like, they're mysterious. They have like beautiful eyes, but you also can't trust them. Do I have any people who know what a drow is here? I know cats don't like bitter apple. Really? So this is like, yeah, I need to like engage with my problem solving process and get these freaking cats out of here. They've got to go one way or another. I mean, I do have options, but I'm just trying to be humane. Give them to me. I love cats. ZM Jasic, when you come to the Midwest, swing on by. We'll have a coffee and you can take these cats off me. I just cannot. I made friends with my feral cat. Now he comes twice a day for food, sleeps on the back patio in the bed I got for him. Guess I have a cat now. Sarah, I read that really quickly and I'm like, you're sharing a bed with a feral cat? Like, I mean, I won't judge, but dang, that's pretty audacious of you. Yeah, I was Googling it too, and they're like, well, one of your options is to trap or kill. And I'm like, I don't want to kill. Like, I'm not trying to go like, Full Metal Jacket on these guys. I just want them out of here. So we'll see. I'm not completely, like, my life isn't ruined about it. The point being, I have to go to the hardware store in a little bit. Let me get back to this. Okay, so we talked about Aunt Linda, right? Okay, now the final Aunt Linda I want to discuss. The final boss. Aunt Linda is actually a man baby. The male Aunt Linda in my life was actually my employer. This was a real pain in my butt. Still a learning experience. So, going back to my first enterprise job. This guy. Now, I'm not dismissing this man. He was very smart, very successful. He had been in the industry since the 80s. And to have a company for decades, to be the guy to run a successful company for that long, to be stunting in your 60s on a current year Corvette, custom plates, coming in whenever. I'm not mad at the guy. I actually think it's pretty impressive. But this was an old school. This guy was very old school and got into the industry again in the 80s when things were a lot more peaceful, more manageable, more, I almost want to say, almost more to the point of being like less abstract and more physical. So he knew a lot about databases. He knew, he knew a lot about organization and the AS400 just in general. And yeah, I think I remember this story. So this man, again, very smart, but also kind of clueless when it came to web development, because he came up in a time when there wasn't a web, but there were still, the 80s was a huge time for computing, personal computing, enterprise computing, these databases getting stronger, more enterprise minded, able to handle more data, able to process data faster, able to distribute data efficiently. So in the 80s, it was the data. And to this day too. I mean, I would argue that even throughout the decades, the database that's where the money is. Your front ends, yeah, they make it look pretty, and that's where you can also, it's hard to say. It's really hard to articulate what I'm trying to get at. It all is important. UX UI is extremely important. Front end, extremely important. You got to have a front end, and one that, is elegant, responsive, is beautiful for people to like and come back to use. But at the end of the day, the thing that is burning with fire and money is the database. So this guy was database minded, and I appreciate that because developers, honestly, if I could go back and do it all over again, front end development is not my calling. I'll do it, but it's not my calling. I would have just probably focused more on like DBA stuff or enterprise database specialties like Oracle. I would have got like my Oracle cert early on and just gone the database enterprise route or enterprise database route. Anyway, so I was a web developer at this company, and this guy was so clueless, and he would sit down and listen to me and my Rupert. Come on, babe. I can't give you another pork chump. You already had two. He would sit down and listen to our conversations between myself and the senior developer about us, how we're going to architect something, how we're going to fix something and do something. And he would just smile, almost like a goober. I'm like, why is he smiling? Why does he find this funny? Because he had no way to relate to what we did. And let me tell you, working with web technologies at that time, open source web technologies with an AS400 with a proprietary IBM server sucked. It was never easy. There was never anything straightforward. It was always convoluted. And not only that, not only out of the box was it convoluted, previous programmers who, I've come to peace with it, we would have 1,000-line SQL statements, guys. 1,000 lines. 1,000. 1,000. Count to 100 10 times for one SQL statement. Like, kill me now. Like, seriously, I'd rather be a garbage woman. That was the thought at the time. So we were working with that stuff, and we had this owner of this business who didn't know anything about web development. So the expectations were extremely unreasonable. The time frame we were given to complete projects, the tasks we were expected to do, the revamps, the rewrites. Like, hey, I'm trying to think of like a concrete example that won't like dox the guy. I probably should play it safe. I'm not trying to like blow up anyone's spot. But the point being, this was a guy who was in the tech industry, knew a lot, but he didn't know anything about web development. So he assumed we could do it all, and it was unrealistic. And that, to me, out of all the Aunt Lindas in my life, out of all the people whose printers I fixed, so to speak, this one was the most difficult because this was my actual employer. And this was the guy giving me a consistent paycheck. So I couldn't push back even in a diplomatic way because felt like I couldn't. It felt like I couldn't because I was the FNG, the freaking new gal. And as an FNG, I mean, I'm not trying to step up to the boss of the company and be like, well, sir, you see, this is unreasonable for 5 reasons. And I think you need to go take a cold steel tutorial. That was difficult because on a daily basis, this guy would have tasks for us. He didn't know what a 1,000-line SQL statement meant. He didn't know what a PSR coding standard was. He didn't know how PHP worked. He didn't know about like modern firewalls and backend development. He didn't know about static sites, which I built. He didn't know about. Oh, can I just share this? Okay, here we go. Here's a concrete example, and I shared it in my book, Real Tough Software. By the way, I promised I wouldn't like promote my stuff, but if you guys are interested in learning more about my coding journey, I'm not gonna like recreate it all right here. It's called Real Tough Software. It should be in the comment or in the description box of this video. It's on Amazon. Real Tough Software, and you can hear all about the gory details. Anyways, we were tasked. I can't believe I'm telling this story. You guys will love it. Yep, Bayless. Ian, you knew it was coming. You knew it's a classic. It's a classic. I can't. Oh my God. Ready to hear, says Cody. PSQL. Okay. PSL. PL. Okay. Oh, it's all coming back now. It's all coming back. It's all coming back. Okay. So I'm a code newbie. I'm trying to, really impress the boss who's clueless about what I do. I'm doing outreach. I'm calling people in the local community being like, hey, we worked with you in the past, or hey, I saw your site was outdated. Here's what we can offer. Hey, this database was slow to load, blah, blah, blah. So I was doing mad outreach. Which, in a small company, you're doing stuff that maybe isn't part of the job description, even in a big company. But I like that kind of stuff because it kept me on my toes, and I do like that interacting. And it was validating because when people said yes, hey, let's have a meeting, I was like, wow, I think the boss is going to be pleased. That means I'm going to still get paid next week. Like, can't be screwing up that badly. Pumpkin spice latte sequel. Hey, I am so basic with my PSLs. That sounds really good. Coffee after the live stream. So I reached, God, this story is so, looking back years later, I'm like, this happened. So I reach out to this cemetery. Let me think. I reached out to a few cemeteries. See you later, Andre. Have a good weekend. Thanks for coming. I reached out to a few cemeteries because you know what? Every cemetery worth its salt is going to have a database or some sort of information, some sort of information, either public facing or internally. If you're a cemetery, you have to have records. You have to have a database of the cadavers of the people in your cemetery. You have to have records of those names, those locations, the plot areas. It's just ripe for a database. It's just like one of the I don't want to say perfect, but you can see just right away how a cemetery would really, the admins would need a database to keep track of these people in their cemetery. So, or shall I say deceased? I'm not trying to be insensitive. So they agree to meet with us because my boss, we'll call him Tom, had this idea. He had this idea for an app. Okay, now here's where the Aunt Linda part comes in. He had this idea for an app. Now, mind you, I think this cemetery had about 20,000 headstones. Okay, it wasn't small. He wanted my senior and I to plot out every headstone with names and locations. Now, think about this problem. Think about this problem and think about the feasibility of this. Because there is no website, there is no data set, there is no ArcGIS, GIS that offers this granularity. Yes, the cemetery has a database of names and locations. However, they're general locations. They're not exact locations. And this man, my boss, wanted exact locations for every headstone so that the loved ones of these people who had passed on could easily find that exact headstone. So think about that. Think about that. 2 people, 20,000 headstones, no data set, just a database of names and general locations. So we meet, the board of directors agrees to meet with us. It is myself, my senior developer, and my boss. And we are in this meeting. These people are, most of them pretty old. They're pretty, like probably 70s and their 80s. There was one guy maybe in his 40s. And so we're kind of pitching the idea. Hey, this is why you guys need this update. This would be a sweet app, like really helpful. I knew Rupert would be here one way or another. Rupert wants to talk about geographical information systems. Rupert, ugh, he stinks. So we're pitching this idea and the possibility and how this is going to solve a problem. We're not coding this out. We are expressing how we can solve this problem. People want to locate their loved ones efficiently with the convenience of an app. And my boss, again, what did I call him? Tom. Mind you, these are buttoned. Okay, the top button is buttoned on all these people's shirts. This is not like an open source party mixer where people are like having fun, cracking jokes. We're at a cemetery conference room, people in these gray hairs buttoned up to the top button. And he says to these board members, we are like prostitutes. We'll do anything for money. I about walked out of that room. I could not believe what I had just heard. Aunt Linda, shut up. Shut up. Like, this project is already doomed. This project is already doomed. And you just said we're like prostitutes will do anything for money. Okay, maybe it is true. If true, shut up. Like, what are you doing? Of course we didn't get the contract. Of course we didn't. I was so embarrassed, dude. I was so embarrassed. I was like, I looked at my senior and we're just like shocked. This is a man in his 60s. Like, he knows better. He's going to the golf course in his Corvette after this conference. What are you doing? We all say silly things. However, as a man of his experience and stature and been doing this for decades, dude, the tone, like, read the room. Woo! So, yeah, that was an Aunt Linda moment where I'm just like, and not only that, but it was the feasibility of getting to the exact geographical point where 20,000 headstones are located. That would take, and he wanted it done in 2 weeks. Okay, that was like, again, Rupert's freaking out here. He's loving this. He wanted it done in 2. I'm not trying to get kicked off YouTube. I really want to start cursing. Like, he wanted it done. My blood sugar, my heart rate, right? I just can't. I'm like, I can't believe he wanted that project done in 2 weeks. I'm just like, I can't believe this. So the point being, yeah, your Aunt Lindas are going to pop up even in the tech industry. And the other point is that they're not always going to be beneficial or fruitful. And, I moved on from that job and I'm glad I did. I believe that company is now belly up. I believe after 2020, 2021, maybe. So no longer in business. Retirement, I don't know. But it was a family business, so I'm really, and I'm actually curious about what happened to some of these clients because there was other stuff going on too. There were some very interesting business practices. I won't say they're I don't know, shady. I don't know what the word was. Intriguing. I was really intrigued. Here we go with the nose thing again. Rupert. Maybe it's a sign I got to wrap this one up, guys. But yeah, again, Real Tough Software, if you guys want to know more about the nitty-gritty. I've changed the names to protect the innocent and the guilty. My Aunt Linda was also the owner of a company with similar oral implications. Ian. Rupert. Guys, I can't. All right. Developers. Ugh, he's too turned. Hey, go ahead. I gotta go to this hardware store, guys, and probably bring the dog with. The ultimate point being, okay. Risk. And then we're gonna wrap it up. Risk. Welcome to the live stream, and thanks for hanging out today. For those of you who have been here since the beginning of this live stream, we've been on for 2 hours. Guys, 2 hours we've been here? What the heck? This is insane. I'm gonna wrap this one up though. So very quickly though, the relationship between risk and six figures. The more you get paid, now again, I have to be clear. This is my opinion and my experience. But the more you get paid, the more risk there is. If you're a supervisor and you're getting paid $100,000 a year, and one of your underlings screws up, guess who the big boss is going to come talk to? Not the underling, you. And guess whose job is at risk more than the others? Yours. Because you are responsible for their performance indirectly and somewhat directly too. As the money goes up, as the income goes up, the risk goes up, and you have more to lose. And so this idea that six-figure income is just, and I don't know, and even like going back to like the $20 burger thing, like, is six figures even the ideal anymore? And that's not to sound glib, because it is a lot of money. Like, come on, guys, $600,000 a year in America should be, you should be filthy rich making six figures a year. In some parts of this country, you can't even survive. Like in California, like in San Francisco, I remember a few years ago, There was this guy who was like, "Yeah, I'm a software developer getting paid 120 and it's hard to make ends meet." I'm like, "That is so wrong. That is so wrong." And it's an insult to people who work really hard and you know, have that put out that risk, because the more you earn, the more you risk. Hey, Jason. Jason, hey, I shouted you out earlier. How's it going? Thanks for showing up. Anyways, Krista says, I might have missed this, but maybe a video on web development AI. I know how we mostly feel about AI, but maybe something in how to leverage it and work in tandem without letting it take over. That sounds like a great idea, actually. That sounds like a great topic, because that is another thing that people have been talking about a lot is AI. Well, why should I go into this career field if AI is just going to like blow me out of the water and take over my life? But at the same time, is it fear mongering or is it actually true? Or maybe it's a bit of both. You know, the best propaganda has a bit of truth in it. Not to say that AI is propaganda, but let's yeah, I think we should explore that. I think that'd be a good topic to explore, because there are, robotics, AI, robotics, all this stuff kind of coming together right now, and it is something a lot of people are talking about. So maybe we can discuss that on a future live stream. Ian says, as long as you have a partner that is making north of $60,000. And that's another interesting topic. And then I promise, this is like the Minnesota goodbye where we spend 20 minutes saying goodbye to each other. But that is such a good point. Cohabitating because of economic need. And I don't know, I don't want to say it's a push, but the dynamics of I don't know, relationships and like, finding someone that you cohabitate. I don't know what I'm getting at. Anyways, partners and jobs and like, okay, just the financial aspect to me is really interesting. Oh, Steve, sonic or sound repellent device for the cats. I saw one on Amazon the other day and it's like this owl with like crazy eyes. And I'm like, do these things work? I was actually thinking about it, but because of the dog, I don't want to like he has really sensitive hearing and I don't want him to go crazy. So do you think I could still use it without him like going totally bananas? I'll try. Omar, what's up? Thanks for stopping in. So many great comments, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I hope this live stream. Am I an Alan Watts fan? I don't know. I have to revisit that. That's another thing. I'm going old school here and just writing this stuff down. Revisit that. Okay, so let's review. We talked about Aunt Linda. We talked about how big of a pain in the butt she is. Could be a guy, gal, other. Doesn't matter. Everyone has at least one. And how you approach that Aunt Linda can really open up some doors, or it might not. But the mentality and the problem-solving mentality is what's going to get you paid at the end of the day. And just as Donovan pointed out, again, this is a guy, for those of you who don't know Donovan, he's been in this industry for a while. He volunteers a lot of his time. He's doing a lot of cool stuff. He's always been doing cool stuff since I met him. Really community-minded. But he was just emphasizing the fact that, be open to it, because you never know. And it just might be that Aunt Linda who opens the door to a new career, a raise, a new opportunity, and a better life. But, at the end of the day, you always have the option of saying no as well. So I hope this live stream got some of your cogs turning. We talked about some pretty cool musical genres too. Thanks, Sarah, for modding. And thank you, everyone, for showing up. I'm going to be doing some timestamps because I know we were all over the place with this and hadn't really gone into, normally I do like a screen share and be like, look at this code, but just getting warmed up into the live stream again. And I really appreciate you guys visiting. If you haven't yet, hit that thumbs up. Tell YouTube that I shouldn't be shadow banned. I also want to share what the heck? Can you guys, okay. The one thing I did want to share was my newsletter. Like I said, we have like 3,500 people on the newsletter. I also have a free ebook if you're interested in that. But the newsletter is something I'm kind of proud of. Has a lot of not just tips and tricks, but some insider info and my own experiences. Play a song before I go. Not today. Omar, please. I got to warm up to this live stream thing. Maybe we'll make it I'll do like an intro song or something for the channel. I'm popping in this link for the newsletter if you guys want to sign up. Again, normally I'm also always about, well, do this, this, and that, but it's the one thing. It's the one thing. Check that newsletter out. If it sucks, you can unsubscribe at any time. Never force it on my people. But thanks, K Swiss. I'm K Silves. Thanks for tuning in. Guys, love these live streams. The time flies. It's been darn near 2.5 hours. But we're going to do it again. Do you guys also next Friday, same time, same place? Someone said we should all go out for coffee. I think that would be so fun. What do I think about Devin? Why you got to bring up exes, Cody? Just kidding. I don't know what Devin is. Yeah, if you guys aren't subbed, sorry to sound trite, but sub to the channel. We got some more video. I'm doing the 5 free Python courses. Really excited about that one. There's one in particular that I think is super cool. Not the X's, man. Hey, why you got to bring up old stuff? Anyways, I hope you guys have a great weekend. It's St. Patty's Day tomorrow, apparently. I made corned beef and cabbage last night in my crock pot. Oh, that thing was on for 9 hours. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I had some potatoes and some sour cream. I need to get some rye bread, though. I'm doing an encore performance of that for dinner tonight. But happy St. Patty's Day. Gonna publish a video next week on that Python courses, and we'll do a live stream too. Thanks, guys. And I'll see you in the Discord. Hey, pop on that Discord. Devin is the devil. Hey, I know that. Bayless, Ian. Bayless, Ian. Thanks for tuning in. Cody, Krista, CG, Renee, Omar, Next Door Panda. Thanks again for Next Door Panda was the guy who was like, please do a live stream. I was like, okay. Yeah, same time, maybe same time, same place, developers. I think of one live stream a week for now is a good goal, and gives us some time to catch up and chat with each other. I'm gonna try to log in back in my Discord tonight, and yeah, I'm being a homebody this weekend and just catching up on stuff. So I hope to see some of you in the Discord, around the internet. Thanks for the love. Guys, I love it. I really love YouTube, and this is the exact reason, seeing all these amazing comments, and I got some video ideas. I got to go over this replay on these live chats. Blah, blah, blah. 20-minute Minnesota goodbye. Peace out. Garage door down. Have a great weekend, everybody. Great seeing you. Code on. ABC, always be coding. ABL, always be leveraging. ABPS, always be problem solving. We'll see you in the next video. Take care, guys.